And coming up next on Morning Light, working together today for an eternal tomorrow. Hear how Mañana is spreading the gospel in the Dominican Republic and is breaking the cycle of poverty. We're back in just 1 minute. Welcome back. In our last segment, you heard about the mission of Productive Lives. The organization works with churches all over the world, including the Dominican Republic. Joining me once again is Dr. Cameron Garven, who was just there and has returned from his trip. Thanks for being with us again. So tell us about Productive Lives and the ministry in the Dominican Republic.
Yeah, so the Dominican Republic has been in our lives for about 14 years. My daughter was a teacher down there, and so through her, some missionary friends, we started going, taking groups from colleges, from schools, from our churches. We go down as families and we do Vacation Bible School, we would do building project. This time we're working with Project Mañana the last 4 years, and Project Mañana is a fantastic partner, and they're doing medical clinics now. They have education, they have jail ministry, they have kids ministry, they have a school. But this time they're looking for doctors to come down. So we took a group of 11 of us from my past church, pediatrician, internal medicine, PT, all the doctors and nurses and 2 pastors. And we went down and ministered and served 250 people over 3 days in a clinic where they usually don't get that kind of health care. So we'll be one of 4 groups that go down periodically during the year and help with the health care. Also, we got to do a project which they do, whether it's families or whether it's doctors, they take into the community where the water is not clean. You and I turn on the water and the water comes out, but they bathe and they go to the bathroom and they do a lot of stuff in the water that's around their community. So this is outside to another community that's really dirt roads, electricity's coming in, but there's no running water. So they each get a bucket, and it's through a ministry called Filter of Hope. And it's a little filter in here that filters absolutely dirty, filthy water that you can drink. It's amazing.
Oh my goodness.
So we'll go around, the doctors and every group we've taken, gone around to different homes that Project Mañana has already talked to. So they're waiting for their bucket. And there's a little filter in here that lasts 10 years. The bucket may not last 10 years, but there's a tool in here to show you how to do it. It works on gravity, and the water comes out clean. Wow. And so, yeah, that's
10 years.
10 years for this. And they've done about 90% of the neighborhood, and then they'll go to another neighborhood. And so Filter of Hope and Project Mañana do that. We pay for the buckets. If you come down, it's $60. The bucket's bigger than this. And it gives people hope, but it also gives them clean water. And then we tell the story of how the dirty bucket, our life is dirty like our spiritual lives, and it needs to be clean, and Jesus can do that. And again, we share the gospel with them. So not only do you help physically, but spiritually. And then Project Mañana follows up with that the next week and sees how it's working, but just another excuse to minister to them and talk to them in their house.
So what is the spiritual situation there in the Dominican Republic?
It's a lovely group of people. Dominican Republic shares the island with Haiti, which is a lot of stuff going on. Dominican's pretty stable, but it is lots of poverty. But there's an openness of spirituality there. It's a religious country. So when you're talking to people, there's a basis of Jesus in the Bible. But then really, if you could pray and think about it, is how do you have a personal relationship with Jesus? Not just a cultural, I go to church because the country tells me, or my mom tells me, or my grandma tells me, but is there a personal relationship? So that's where we're coming at. Again, working with Project Mañana, where we have opportunities. And then when we leave, they're still there again, just like in Philadelphia, that someone's continuing the ministry.
And how are you seeing lives being changed?
Well, they have a prison ministry, which we haven't done yet, but that's been life's changed. They're in most of the prisons in the Dominican Republic. They also have a school there, so kids get to go there. They're building a high school now, and you get to sponsor kids. So when we were there in March, 2 kids got sponsored that would help them develop them through high school and beyond. And so get to do that. And when we come down, the health clinic, they do a project for girls that when they're 15, they get their dresses and help them to do that. Nutrition projects. So we come along again, alongside of Project Mañana and do that. And they have a church there in the community. Actually, where we stay is the place we stay in the community and the church, and all that's there. So we're seeing lives change through Project Mañana. And then our team, our doctors are coming back, texting me every day. When can we go back? So we're going back in March. And they have been excited about going back to their practice and just a little bit more sharing about what Jesus is doing.
Yeah, well, certainly the ministry is making a difference. It's something that we will be praying for. Thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks, Deborah.